Okay, so in this series we're going to put together the site you see in front of you using Bootstrap, which is essentially a CSS framework with loads of useful components in. So this design here took about 15 minutes to put together, which I guess just shows you how powerful it is. It is quite plain and quite generic looking, but we're not going to be looking at changing styles or anything like that. There's plenty of themes available for Bootstrap that you can go and look up. But yeah, so essentially what we've got here is what I've built with Bootstrap. We're using a responsive or fluid grid system, and this will sort of respond to the browser size being changed. We've got a few components like buttons, this hero feature thing here. We've got grids here, so these grids, more buttons, icons are provided, sort of generic colors, which I guess is important. This navigation bar at the top, which if we just resize, that's killed the surprise. If we just resize, you can see that sort of stays, it's fixed to the top. This down here, which is a nice looking list, and obviously the responsive nature. So as I change my browser size, this changes as well. So we can view this nicely on mobile devices. And we also get this JavaScript functionality kicking in as well. So in the next video, we're going to start to talk about Bootstrap, have a look around the website, see what it's all about. If you're not used to stuff like this, it's so useful, particularly for, if you've got some fantastic designer and a design team to put a site together, or you're really good at it, that's fine. But Bootstrap's a good framework, bloated by default, but you can customize that and you don't have to have all the bells and whistles that it comes with. So we'll talk a bit about Bootstrap, what it is, what it does, and then we'll start to build out this site, explaining as we go parts of it. So it is heavily documented, but the documentation, I guess, doesn't explain how and why stuff works. So we'll take a look at building this, and it's not going to take long at all. Okay, so in this part, we're going to take a look at what Bootstrap is, what we can use it for, how to download it, and more importantly, how to customize your download so you're not downloading and including things you don't need into your style sheets. We'll sort of then go on for the rest of the series to build this site that we've seen in the last part. So this is the website. You can see the URL at the top there. No need to read that out. By default, you can go ahead and click this download Bootstrap button, which will pretty much come with anything. It won't come with the JavaScript plugins, I don't think, but you can go ahead and customize. We'll talk about that in a moment. So it is well documented. For example, if we click on components, we can see that this is essentially just giving us markup to create a drop down, and that's with the drop down JavaScript plugin. So it's fairly well documented. So if we want to download it, we can go ahead and hit the download Bootstrap button just here. But customizing it's probably better. If you don't say need like pre for code, for example, to render code properly, or you don't need labels and badges, or something like that, just go ahead and untick it. It's going to make the load time of the Bootstrap files a lot quicker. So we can get rid of that, and we can choose which jQuery plugins we use as well. So the JavaScript side of stuff does depend on jQuery. Now, I haven't really explained what Bootstrap is. For those of you thinking, what the hell is this? Why would I use this? When it comes to web development, we're getting into this, we should really use framework kind of mind. There's tons and tons of CSS frameworks. There's tons of grid systems. There's loads of back-end frameworks as well for PHP. We're sort of tending to use frameworks more now. So Bootstrap's a CSS or a front-end framework because it does contain a lot of JavaScript components, and we have a grid system in there which helps us lay out our site better, and it's also responsive. So nowadays, building responsive layouts from scratch, not difficult, but it's fairly difficult to get them just right. So this just gives you everything you need to start going. Now, if you're not the kind of person that wants to use something like this, it's so good for prototyping. If you need to get a site built to demonstrate its functionality, and you don't want to build all the front end and waste days building the front end design, use Bootstrap. Pretty much everything you need is there. You've got buttons, drop downs, menus, headers, everything perfectly spaced out for you that you need. So you know, that's it really. If you want to use it for prototyping, it's absolutely brilliant. But then again, you can use it for production as well, and you can download themes, change things yourself. You know, I personally wouldn't go out and buy or download a theme for this. I would do all of the CSS changes myself, but that's easy enough. You just open the Bootstrap CSS file and start changing if you want to change colors or anything like that. So we could change the color of these buttons. We could change the font that we use for this this logo essentially up here, this branding. So yeah, that's basically it. That's what Bootstrap is. You download it, you include the JavaScript files, you include the CSS files, any of the plugins that you need, and that's it. You can start building sites that essentially look like this. So that's what Bootstrap is. That's how to customize it. That's how to just quickly download it. I've just used this download, so I haven't customized anything. So if you're going to follow this tutorial step by step, which is probably a good idea if you're new to this, just go ahead and hit this download button and you should be ready to go. So in the next video, we'll look at including the files and starting to build our base CSS.